Or when there is like a rabbit explosion,
Okay.
like in Australia, sometimes there's a rabbit population explosion.
Hmm.
Well, go eat rabbit.
Hmm.
Because the government says, please kill 1.5 million rabbits. There's too many, otherwise we'll have no crop left.
Yes.
Right? So because that's it's an invaded animal that doesn't belong on that continent. So it over multiplies, it destroys all natural. All the kangaroos would be dead if you didn't shoot that many rabbits, right? So there's a population control, there's no natural enemy. So you have to lovingly understand that it is this universe that's valuable, not your one concept. Not that I'm against vegan. This is just my example. So you could be a perfectly good vegan. Good for you. Thank you for being vegan. My example is to educate. Are we together? All right.
Now, I will interrupt a little bit in between. When in the last show or some shows, we talked about patriotism.
Yes.
The love.
So that could be an ideal.
Okay, that's not a passion or love. It is a love for the country.
No. Hang on. What's your question?
What is patriotism?
By itself. Okay. So patriotism by itself is patriotism. How I consume it, how I understand it could be passion or love.
Okay.
That depends on my elevation. For example, say I'm passionately patriotic. And my definition of patriotism, therefore, it could be that I'm for the country.
Yes.
Anyone who speaks against my country, leave the country. No. But a passionate person will say, well, if you speak passionately against my country, but I can see that you're speaking for the country's benefit you're criticizing, then it's okay. But if I can't see it, then you leave the country. So then that's more passion and not enough love.
So it's not serving the humanity, like you said.
All of humanity.
All of humanity. Okay.
So patriotism. But this is an example of a low-level passion.
Okay.
So, for example, if I love the concept of patriotism, then I will say to my neighboring country, hey, you should love your country. I love mine. And because you love your country, you shouldn't do stupid things with your neighbor because that's not good for you and not good for me. And I will have to react and you will have to react. And then ultimately we both will hurt because we didn't implement the high ideal of true patriotism. So now I am using diplomacy, not just patriotic fervor to just defend against all enemies because I'm afraid. So when I'm patriotic because of fear, then my fear kills my courage.
Okay. I think we digressed a little bit, but I just wanted to...
No, but I want to go. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Thank you for this question. So fear can kill your courage. And you'll say, no, that person who's so passionate, low-level passionate about patriotism, he looks so courageous. Right? No. Yeah, he looks courageous. He is courageous at that level. But it takes more courage to love. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, we have to keep going.
Sure.
So there are some more aspects of true love, and then we have to kind of go into some aspects of what non-love or lower level love feels like and why we get confused, because I have to give you detectors for love, right? So that's coming in. So then one level lower of love you can have is, love is love, but how can you detect it? For example, so you and your spouse, shall we say, right? You're in love, you get married, you have a kid, 2 kids. Yeah. Now, the children are dependent on you in the beginning when they're young. So you feel that special vatsalya ras, right? You feel that it's called the love of the dependent child. A dependent child has a different kind of love that it evokes than a teenager. 3 gears on parenting.
Yes.
That's why you have to switch gears. Okay, we'll come back to here. So you enjoy that and you feel that dependence that the child has on you, and you feel your responsibility that I have to grow them to happiness, right? Now, if your love definition came from the environment you grew up in, for example, say you read a lot of romance novels, even trash romance, right? What do you call yellow romance, right? Yellow journalism. So then your idea of love becomes very, very feeling oriented. Feeling, just, if this guy asks me, it feeds my ego, and then we go out and do something, then he truly loves me. But if he naturally, without asking me, does some great sacrifice and didn't ask me, then it's nothing. Why? Because he didn't do the active act of showing respect and feeding my ego. Because all my romance novels, always the love is about ego and not true sacrifice. But it looks like sacrifice.
And you, Sandeep, I used to read those novels a couple of years ago, and I stopped.
It trashes your brain.
Oh
lady.
my God. Now when I think about it, I said, wow, I wasted so much of my energy in those.
Yeah. Also, it makes you angry when your spouse doesn't play that role that you read about. Okay. Then you have to learn other methods of managing your anger, because it's a simmering anger kind of thing, right? So, but if you grew up in that environment, it means you fundamentally have a wrong concept of love. And you literally have to be able to discard that entire boat. Everything you enjoyed in that is bogus. And it's not easy to do that until you replace it with something else.
Okay.
So if you're Indian, then I recommend reading Ramayana. Because it is therapy 101. It is not just a story. You read the story as thick a version of Ramayana as you can read. Meaning there's a bridge, there's all kinds of it, because the original is like 10 volumes, right? So you read as thick a version as you can read in a language of your choice. Preferably in your native tongue, if you can still read your native tongue. Why? Because the native tongue will land and do therapy faster. That's it. That's the only reason. But if you can't read your native tongue, then you read it in whatever language you're speaking. I mean, if you're listening to me, it must be English, but but it could be something else, right? Maybe many people are trilingual or know more languages. What can you do? So, all right.
Okay.
So like that. Then there are some other books you can read, but start with that one. Okay, that will start. You have to read it 2 or 3 times. If you can do Ramcharitmanas by Tulsidas, which is a translation, right? That is a lot of love in it.
When you say there's a lot of love in it,
meaning it has love and also has knowledge. Okay. So it is the original story, Valmiki story, is more knowledge, less love.
Oh, wow.
That's what I mean. It has more love.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because the original story has love, but it doesn't have so much bhakti. Because bhakti is another kind of love. Whereas Tulsi Ramayana has the original story, which is full of knowledge, which is called Gyanpad, has Advait, pure Advait knowledge, is everywhere inside Tulsi Ramayana. Ramcharitmanas, right? It's loaded with Vedanta, but it's also loaded with the love that's in the original story. And it also has an additional amount of bhakti, which is very, very
fulfilling?
Healing.
Okay.
Because if you have read that much trash stuff, you need healing. And, sorry, one more thing. And you need to apologize to your spouse for having so much trash knowledge that impacted the way you viewed them. Once you realize, even you can realize just now by listening to me. So if you have trust, if you don't, then you read Ramcharitmanas. At some point you'll realize, oh my God, I was so wrong. So full of ego, it's just ego all the time. And I was inflicting that on other people. People that were loving you were having to tolerate your violence.